Welcome to An Amazing Storyteller, and thank you for being here. Before we begin, take a moment to relax. There's nothing you need to rush and nothing you need to understand perfectly. This video is created for people who want to improve their English fluency through listening, not by memorizing rules, not by chasing perfection, but by understanding how real speaking actually works. As you listen, don't worry about every word. Just listen, feel the rhythm, and let the language come naturally. If this kind of content helps you, please like the video. It really supports the channel. You can also share it with someone who wants to speak English more confidently. And before we continue, I'd like to ask you something. What is the biggest difficulty you face when speaking English? Take a moment and write it in the comments. Even a short sentence is enough. Now, let's begin. Let's start with the silent struggle. If you are watching this video, there is a high chance that your situation looks like this. You understand English when you listen. You understand English when you read. You may even understand English when someone speaks fast. But when it's your turn to speak, something happens. Your mind goes quiet. Your thoughts feel slow. Your words don't come out the way you want them to. Maybe you know what you want to say, but you can't say it quickly. Or maybe you start a sentence and then stop halfway. And when that happens, you feel frustrated. You might think, why is this so difficult for me? Why can others speak so easily? Why do I know English but still can't speak it? If you have ever felt this way, you are not alone. Millions of English learners around the world experience the exact same struggle. And the most important thing you need to know is this. There is nothing wrong with you. This problem does not mean you're bad at English. It does not mean you're not smart. And it definitely does not mean you cannot become fluent. It simply means that you were never taught how to speak, only how to learn English. Most people spend years listening, reading, and studying silently. But speaking is different. Speaking is active. Speaking requires courage, speed, and practice. And when speaking feels difficult, many learners do the same thing. They become quiet. They avoid speaking. They wait. They tell themselves, I'll speak later, when I'm more confident. But that moment never comes. In this video, we are going to talk honestly about this silent struggle. Not with pressure, not with judgment, but with understanding. Because once you understand why this happens, you can finally start moving forward. And that starts right here. Now, let's talk about our next topic. Why understanding English is not enough to speak it fluently. Many English learners believe this idea. If I understand English well, speaking will come automatically. It sounds logical, but in real life, it doesn't work that way. You can understand English very well and still struggle to speak. Why? Because understanding and speaking are two different skills. Understanding English is mostly passive. You listen, you read. You recognize words and sentences. But speaking is active. When you speak, your brain must do many things at the same time. It must choose words. It must build sentences. It must control your mouth and voice. And it must do all of this quickly, in real time. That is why many people say, I understand everything, but I can't reply. Your brain knows the language, but your speaking system is not trained yet. Think of it like this. You can watch someone swim. You can understand how swimming works. You can even explain swimming rules. But that doesn't mean you can jump into the water and swim smoothly. Speaking English works the same way. Listening and reading are important. They help your brain get familiar with the language. But speaking needs its own practice. This is where many learners get confused. They keep listening, they keep watching videos, they keep reading books. And those things help, but only up to a point. Without speaking practice, your English stays in your head. And when English stays only in your head, it feels heavy, slow, and difficult to use. The good news is this: you don't need more grammar rules. You don't need more complicated words. What you need is to activate the English you already know. And once you understand that speaking is a separate skill, everything starts to make sense. From here on, we will focus on turning understanding into action. Now, let's move to our next topic: the overthinking trap and how it silently blocks your speaking. When many learners try to speak English, they don't start speaking immediately. First, they think. They think about the sentence. They think about the grammar. They think about the tense. They think about whether it sounds correct. And all of this thinking happens before a single word comes out. Inside your mind, the sentence becomes heavy. You try to build the perfect sentence first, and only then you allow yourself to speak. But here is the problem: speaking does not wait. Real conversations move fast. People don't wait while you prepare the perfect sentence in your head. So while you're thinking, the moment passes. And when the moment passes, you feel disappointed. You might say to yourself, "I knew what I wanted to say, but I couldn't say it." This is not a language problem. This is an overthinking problem. Overthinking creates fear. Fear creates hesitation, and hesitation breaks fluency. The more you think before speaking, the slower your response becomes. And the slower your response becomes, the more pressure you feel. This creates a cycle. You think too much, you speak less, you lose confidence, and next time you think even more. Many learners believe that thinking more will help them speak better. But in reality, fluency comes from thinking less, not more. Fluent speakers do not stop to calculate every sentence. They speak first and adjust naturally as they go. This does not mean they are careless. It means their brain trusts the language. To become fluent, you must slowly teach yourself the same habit. You don't need perfect sentences. You need movement. You need to allow your words to come out even if they are not perfect, because fluency is created in motion, not in silence. And once you understand this, you are ready to move forward. Now, let's talk about our next topic: the habit of translating in your head and why it slows your speaking. For many English learners, speaking follows the same hidden pattern. First, you think in your native language. Then, you translate those thoughts into English. After that, you try to fix the grammar, and only then you attempt to speak. This process feels natural because this is how most of us were taught. But here is the problem. Translation takes time, and speaking does not give you that time. When you translate word by word, your brain is doing double work. It is working once in your native language and then again in English. That extra step creates pauses. Those pauses create hesitation, and hesitation creates fear. This is why many learners feel slow when they speak. They are not slow thinkers, they are simply translating. Think about how fluent speakers talk. They do not translate each sentence before speaking. They do not search for every word. Instead, English comes out directly. Not because they are special, but because their brain is trained to respond in English, not convert into English. When you rely on translation, your sentences often sound unnatural. You stop in the middle. You lose your rhythm. You forget what you wanted to say next. And when that happens, you feel embarrassed. So you speak less. And when you speak less, the translation habit becomes even stronger. This is another cycle. The solution is not to force yourself to think perfectly in English overnight. That takes time. The real solution is to slowly reduce translation by using simple English thoughts, short sentences, common phrases, natural expressions. When you allow yourself to speak simply, your brain starts skipping the translation step. Little by little, English stops being something you convert. It becomes something you use. And once that happens, speaking feels lighter, faster, and more natural. This is not about speed. This is about removing unnecessary effort. And that is how fluency begins to grow. Now, let's move to our next topic: how school and society quietly trained you to stay silent. For many people, the fear of speaking English did not start today. It started a long time ago. It started in classrooms. In school, many of us learned one clear rule: don't make mistakes. If you answered incorrectly, you were corrected immediately, sometimes in front of others, sometimes with laughter, sometimes with embarrassment. Slowly, your brain learned something important. It learned that silence feels safer than trying. So instead of speaking freely, you waited. You checked your answer in your head. You spoke only when you were sure. And that habit followed you into adulthood. Now, even when you know the answer, you hesitate. Not because you don't know English, but because your brain is protecting you. It is trying to avoid judgment. It is trying to avoid embarrassment. It is trying to avoid being wrong. This is why many learners say, "I'm afraid people will judge my English." Or, "I don't want to sound stupid." These thoughts are not weakness. They are learned behavior. Society often rewards perfection, but fluency does not grow in perfection. Fluency grows in mistakes. Every fluent speaker you admire made thousands of mistakes in the beginning. They said wrong sentences. They used the wrong words. They sounded awkward, but they kept speaking. The problem is not that you make mistakes. The problem is that you were taught to fear them. To move forward, you must slowly unlearn this fear. You must allow yourself to speak even when your English is not perfect. Because speaking is not a test, it is a skill. And skills grow through practice, not silence. Once you understand this, a lot of pressure disappears. You stop trying to impress, you start trying to communicate. And that shift changes everything. Now, let's talk about our next topic: why speaking English is a physical skill, not just a mental one. Many learners believe that speaking English is only about the brain. They think, if I learn more grammar, I will speak better. If I know more words, speaking will become easy. But speaking does not work like that. Speaking is not only thinking. Speaking is also movement. When you speak, your mouth, tongue, lips, and jaw must work together smoothly. They must produce sounds quickly and naturally. If you rarely speak English out loud, these muscles are not trained. So, even if your brain knows the sentence, your mouth struggles to say it. This is why many learners say, "I know the sentence in my head, but I can't say it clearly." It is not because your English is weak. It is because your speaking muscles are not used to English. Think about learning a physical skill. You can watch videos about playing the guitar. You can understand how the fingers should move. But until you actually practice, your hands will feel slow and uncomfortable. Speaking English is the same. Your mouth needs repetition. It needs daily use. It needs time to become comfortable with English sounds. This is why silent learning has limits. You can listen for hours, but if you don't speak, your mouth stays untrained. And when your mouth is untrained, speaking feels tiring, awkward, and stressful. The solution is simple, but many people avoid it. You must speak out loud. Not perfectly, not fluently at first, just out loud. Short sentences, simple words, slow speed. Each time you speak, your mouth learns a little more. And over time, speaking feels easier. Your words come out faster, your pronunciation improves naturally. Your confidence grows quietly. Because now, your brain and your mouth are working together. And that is when real fluency starts to appear. Now, let's talk about our next topic. Why confidence never comes before speaking, it comes after. Many English learners tell themselves the same thing. I will start speaking when I feel confident. When my English is better, I will speak more. Once I feel ready, I will talk. This sounds reasonable, but it is one of the biggest traps in language learning. Confidence does not come first. Confidence is the result of speaking, not the reason for it. Think about anything you do confidently today. You were not confident at the beginning. You became confident after doing it many times. Speaking English works exactly the same way. At the beginning, speaking feels uncomfortable. Your voice sounds strange to you. You pause. You make mistakes. And your brain says, "This feels bad, stop." So you wait. But the problem is this: if you wait for confidence, you may wait forever. Because confidence is built only through action. Every time you speak, even a little, your brain learns something important. It learns that speaking is safe. It learns that nothing bad happens. It learns that you can survive mistakes. Slowly, fear becomes smaller. But if you never speak, your brain never learns this lesson, so fear stays strong. This is why many people study English for years and still feel nervous speaking simple sentences. They were preparing for confidence instead of creating it. The real rule is simple. Speak first, feel confident later. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel brave. You only need to start. A short sentence, a simple idea, a quiet moment alone. Each time you speak, confidence grows quietly in the background. And one day, you realize something important. You are speaking, and you are not afraid anymore. Not because you waited for confidence, but because you earned it. And that is how fluency truly begins. Now let's talk about our next topic, the power of broken English and why it is not your enemy. Many English learners are afraid of one thing more than anything else: speaking broken English. They believe that if their English is not perfect, it is better to stay quiet. They think, my grammar is not correct, my sentence is too simple, I sound childish. So they choose silence. But here is the truth. Broken English is not failure. Broken English is progress. Every fluent speaker you hear today once spoke broken English. They made mistakes. They used simple words. They said things the wrong way. And that is exactly how they improved. Fluency does not start with perfect sentences. Fluency starts with communication. If the other person understands you, your English is already working. Think about how children learn to speak. They don't wait for perfect grammar. They speak with mistakes. They repeat themselves. They experiment with language. And slowly, their sentences become better. Adults forget this process. We want to sound correct immediately. We want to sound intelligent. We want to avoid mistakes. But this pressure blocks progress. When you allow yourself to speak broken English, something important happens. Your fear reduces. Your mouth moves more freely. Your brain focuses on meaning, not perfection. And once you are speaking regularly, improvement happens naturally. Grammar improves, sentence structure improves, vocabulary grows, but only after you start speaking. Broken English is not the opposite of fluency. It is the path to fluency. So instead of saying, I don't want to speak because my English is bad, try saying, I will speak because my English is improving. This small change in mindset removes a huge amount of pressure. You stop trying to sound perfect. You start trying to be understood. And that is when real communication begins. That is when English becomes useful. And that is when fluency starts to feel possible. Now, let's talk about our next topic. Why fluent speakers think in phrases, not in single words. Many English learners try to speak one word at a time. They search for a word. Then they search for the next word. Then they try to connect those words into a sentence. This makes speaking feel slow and stressful. Your brain is working too hard. But fluent speakers do something very different. They don't build sentences word by word, they use ready-made phrases. For example, I think that. In my opinion, the main reason is, what I want to say is. These are not special phrases, they are simple, but they are powerful. Why? Because phrases reduce thinking. When you use a phrase, your brain doesn't start from zero. It already knows how the sentence begins. This gives you time. Time to think about meaning. Time to relax. Time to continue speaking. When learners only think in words, they stop often. They pause. They lose confidence. But when learners think in phrases, speaking becomes smoother. The sentence flows more naturally. The pauses become shorter. The rhythm feels more like real English. This is why memorizing long vocabulary lists does not always help speaking. Knowing many words is useful, but knowing how words live together is more important. Phrases are the bridge between knowing English and using English. The good news is this: you already know many phrases. You have heard them in videos, you have read them in texts, you have listened to them many times. Now the goal is to reuse them. Not perfectly, not creatively at first, just naturally. When you start speaking in phrases, your brain stops translating word by word. It starts responding in English. And when that happens, speaking feels lighter. You don't feel stuck. You don't feel blocked. You feel movement. And movement is the foundation of fluency. Once you begin thinking in phrases, you are no longer just learning English. You are starting to use it. Now let's talk about our next topic. Mirror talk, a simple but powerful way to practice speaking English. Many learners want to practice speaking, but they don't know where to start. They feel nervous speaking to others. They feel embarrassed speaking in public, so they wait for the right situation. But the truth is, you don't need anyone else to begin speaking. You can start with yourself. Mirror talk means standing in front of a mirror and speaking English out loud, as if you were talking to a real person. At first, this may feel strange. You might feel uncomfortable. You might even feel a little silly. That is normal. But mirror talk works for a very important reason. When you look at yourself in the mirror, your brain feels like it is in a real conversation. You see facial expressions. You see mouth movement. You hear your own voice. This activates the same system you use when speaking to other people. But there is one big difference. There is no pressure. No one is judging you. No one is correcting you. No one is waiting for a perfect answer. So your fear becomes smaller. You can speak slowly. You can pause. You can repeat sentences. You can talk about anything. Your day, your plans, your thoughts, your opinions. The topic does not matter. What matters is that you are speaking. Mirror talk helps you become comfortable with your own English voice. Many learners are not afraid of English itself. They are afraid of hearing themselves speak it. Mirror talk removes that fear. The more you practice, the more natural your voice sounds to you. Your mouth moves more easily. Your sentences come out faster. Your confidence grows quietly. Just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. You don't need a teacher. You don't need a partner. You only need a mirror and the courage to start. And once speaking feels normal with yourself, speaking with others becomes much easier. This is how small private practice leads to real public confidence. Now, let's talk about our next topic: how talking to yourself in English can quietly build real fluency. Many people think that speaking practice must happen in special situations. They think they need a teacher. They think they need a speaking partner. They think they need a class. But one of the most powerful ways to practice speaking is something you can do anywhere. You can talk to yourself. Talking to yourself in English does not mean long speeches. It does not mean perfect sentences. It means using English in small, simple moments throughout your day. For example, when you wake up, you can describe what you were doing. I'm getting up. I'm feeling tired. Today is going to be busy. When you are cooking, you can speak your actions. I'm cutting vegetables. I need more salt. This smells good. When you are walking or traveling, you can describe what you see. It's crowded today. The weather is nice. I'm a little late. These are simple sentences, but they are powerful. Why? Because they turn English into a habit, not a performance. You are not speaking to impress anyone. You are speaking to think. This kind of practice removes pressure. There is no fear of mistakes. There is no fear of judgment. Your brain starts switching to English more easily because English becomes part of your daily life. At first, this may feel slow. You may forget words. You may stop often. That is normal. What matters is consistency. Even a few sentences a day train your brain to respond in English. Over time, your thoughts become clearer, your reactions become faster, your speaking feels more natural. Talking to yourself is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of practice. And practice, done quietly and daily, creates strong fluency. When English becomes part of your inner voice, speaking out loud feels much easier. And that is how everyday moments turn into real progress. Now, let's talk about our next topic: how describing what you see can make speaking easier and faster. Many English learners struggle with one question: what should I talk about? They want to practice speaking, but they don't know what to say. This creates pressure, and pressure stops speaking. But there is a very simple solution. Use what you can see. Visual speaking means looking at something and describing it in English. It can be a picture. It can be a room. It can be a street. It can be a situation around you. For example, look around you right now. You might say, there is a table in front of me. The room is quiet. The light is soft. These sentences are simple, but they are real English. When you describe what you see, you don't need to invent ideas. Your brain focuses on observation, not imagination. This makes speaking much easier. You are not asking, what should I say? You are simply answering, what do I see? This technique is powerful because it removes mental pressure. It also helps you practice natural sentence structure. You learn how to describe objects, actions, people, and situations. Over time, your descriptions become longer. Instead of one sentence, you say two, then three. You start adding details. It's a small room. It feels calm. I like this place. Visual speaking also improves confidence. You feel more in control. You feel less blocked. You feel more relaxed. Because your brain is busy describing, not judging. This is how many fluent speakers learned. They talked about what they saw, what they experienced, what was in front of them. You don't need complex topics. You don't need advanced vocabulary. You need clarity. And clarity comes from seeing. When you practice visual speaking regularly, your English becomes more natural. Your sentences come faster. Your pauses become shorter. And speaking stops feeling like a test. It starts feeling like communication. And that is a big step forward. Now, let's talk about our next topic: why stopping to correct yourself breaks fluency and what to do instead. Many English learners do this without realizing it. They start a sentence, then they stop. They correct a word, they change the grammar, they restart the sentence, and suddenly the flow is gone. This habit feels responsible. It feels like you are trying to speak correctly. But in reality, it is one of the biggest reasons speaking feels difficult. When you stop mid-sentence, your brain loses rhythm. Your confidence drops. Your mouth tightens. your thoughts scatter, and the conversation becomes stressful. Fluent speakers do not speak like this. They do not pause to fix every small mistake. They keep moving forward. Why? Because communication is more important than correction. When you stop yourself, your brain receives a message. Speaking is dangerous. Be careful. This increases fear. But when you finish your thought, even with mistakes, your brain learns something different. Speaking is okay. I can continue. This is a very important lesson. Fluency depends on flow, not perfection. Imagine driving a car. If you stop every few seconds to adjust the steering wheel, you will never move smoothly. Speaking works the same way. The goal is not to stop less because you are perfect. The goal is to stop less because you keep going. This does not mean you should ignore mistakes forever. Correction has its place, but not in the middle of speaking. First, finish your idea. Let the sentence come out. Let the thought be complete. Later, if you want, you can think about how to say it better. But during speaking, your only job is movement. Sentence by sentence, idea by idea. When you allow yourself to finish what you start, something changes. Your speech becomes smoother. Your pauses feel natural. Your confidence grows. Because now you are speaking to communicate, not to perform. And that shift makes English feel lighter. It makes speaking feel possible. And that is exactly what fluency needs. Now let's talk about our next topic. Why a small daily speaking ritual matters more than motivation. Many English learners depend on motivation. They say, "Today I don't feel like speaking. I'll practice tomorrow. I'm too tired today." And slowly, days pass, weeks pass, and speaking never becomes a habit. The truth is simple. Fluency does not grow through motivation. It grows through routine. A daily speaking ritual means choosing a small, fixed time to speak English every day. Not for 1 hour, not perfectly, just consistently. It can be 5 minutes. It can be 10 minutes. What matters is that it happens every day. When you speak at the same time daily, your brain stops asking questions. It stops asking, "Should I practice today? Am I in the mood?" Instead, it says, "This is what we do now." This removes resistance. You don't rely on energy. You don't rely on confidence. You rely on habit. And habit is powerful. At first, your daily speaking may feel weak. Some days will feel good. Some days will feel bad. That's normal. The goal of a speaking ritual is not to sound amazing every day. The goal is to show up. Each time you speak, even on bad days, your brain strengthens the connection. English becomes familiar. Speaking becomes normal. Over time, 5 minutes turns into 10 minutes. 10 minutes turns into confidence. But this only happens when speaking is part of your routine, not something you do only when you feel ready. A daily speaking ritual removes pressure. You stop chasing progress. You start allowing it. And slowly, without forcing anything, fluency begins to grow. Quietly, naturally, one day at a time. Now let's talk about our next topic. Why listening is still important, but only when you listen the right way. Many English learners hear this advice often. Listen more. Watch more English videos. Listen every day. And listening does help, but listening alone is not enough. The problem is not listening. The problem is how you listen. Passive listening means English plays in the background while your mind is somewhere else. You hear sounds, but you don't notice structure. You don't notice rhythm. You don't notice how sentences flow. This kind of listening helps very little. Active listening is different. Active listening means you are present. You notice how speakers start sentences. You notice how they connect ideas. You notice pauses, stress, and tone. You don't need to understand every word. You listen for patterns, not perfection. For example, you hear the same phrase again and again. At the end of the day, what I mean is, the reason is, slowly these phrases become familiar, and what becomes familiar becomes usable. This is why listening supports speaking when it is connected to action. You listen, then you repeat a sentence. Then you try using the same structure later. Listening becomes input for speaking, not something separate. That is why long listening videos like this one can help when you are relaxed, focused, and present. You absorb the rhythm of English. You absorb sentence flow. You absorb natural pacing. Over time, your brain starts copying what it hears, not consciously, naturally. This is how children learn language, and this is how adults can too. Listening prepares the ground. Speaking grows on it. But without speaking, listening stays incomplete. When listening and speaking work together, progress becomes much faster. So don't stop listening. Just make sure your listening is helping you use English, not only hear it. And when that happens, fluency starts to feel closer. Now let's talk about our next topic, why repetition is not boring. It is how fluency is built. Many English learners avoid repetition. They think, I already know this sentence. This is too simple. I should learn something new. So they move on quickly. But fluency does not come from always learning new things. It comes from making familiar things automatic. Think about how you learned to use your phone, or how you learned to drive, or how you learned to type. You repeated the same actions again and again. At first, everything felt slow. You had to think. You made mistakes. But with repetition, those actions became natural. Speaking English works the same way. When you repeat simple sentences, your brain stops struggling. I think. I want to. I don't know. I'm not sure. These sentences may sound basic, but they are the foundation of real conversation. Each time you repeat them out loud, your mouth becomes more comfortable. Your timing improves. Your confidence grows quietly. Repetition also reduces fear. When your brain knows what is coming next, it feels safe. And when your brain feels safe, it allows you to speak more freely. This is why fluent speakers sound relaxed. They are not inventing language each time. They are reusing patterns they know well. You don't need hundreds of new sentences every day. You need a small number of sentences used many times. Slowly, your speech becomes smoother. Your pauses disappear. Your words come out without effort. This is not memorization. This is familiarity. And familiarity is powerful. When English feels familiar in your mouth, speaking stops feeling like work. It starts feeling normal. And that is one of the clearest signs that fluency is growing. Now let's talk about our next topic. Why practicing without an audience can unlock real fluency. Many English learners believe they must speak in front of others to improve. They think, if I don't speak with people, it doesn't count. If no one is listening, it's not real practice. But this belief creates pressure, and pressure blocks speaking. In the early stages of fluency, practicing alone is not a weakness, it is a smart strategy. When no one is listening, your brain feels safe. There is no fear of judgment, no fear of interruption, no fear of making mistakes. And when fear is low, speaking becomes easier. This is why many learners speak better when they are alone than when they are with others. Speaking alone allows you to focus on one thing only: expression. You can try new sentences, you can repeat ideas, you can slow down or speed up. You are free. This freedom is important. Because fluency is built when your brain connects thoughts to speech without stress. Think of it like training before a performance. Athletes don't practice only during matches. Musicians don't practice only on stage. They practice alone, again and again, until their skills feel natural. Speaking English works the same way. When you practice alone regularly, your brain learns that speaking is normal. So when you finally speak with others, it doesn't feel new, it feels familiar. The fear is smaller, your reactions are faster, your sentences come out more easily. Practicing without an audience is not avoiding real speaking, it is preparing for it. And the better your preparation, the calmer you feel in real conversations. This is how quiet practice creates confident speech. And this is how fluency grows without pressure. Now, let's talk about our next topic: how judging yourself too early can stop your progress, and what to do instead. Many English learners quit not because they are incapable, but because they judge themselves too harshly. They speak for a few days or weeks, then they think, "I'm not improving. I still make mistakes. I sound the same." And slowly, motivation disappears. But here is the truth. Progress in speaking is not loud, it is quiet. You don't suddenly wake up fluent. You don't suddenly speak perfectly. Fluency grows in small, almost invisible steps. One day, you pause a little less. Another day, a sentence comes out faster. Another day, you don't panic when you make a mistake. These are signs of progress, but many learners ignore them. They only look for perfection, and when they don't see it, they feel disappointed. This kind of judgment is dangerous, because speaking is not a test you pass or fail. It is a long process. If you judge yourself every day, you create pressure, and pressure brings fear. Fear brings silence. Instead, you need a different way to measure progress. Ask yourself simple questions. Did I speak today? Did I try, even a little? Did I finish my thoughts? These questions focus on action, not results, because action creates fluency. Results follow later. Some days will feel good. Some days will feel bad. Both are part of progress. When you stop judging yourself, you allow growth to happen. You stay consistent, you stay calm, you keep speaking. And over time, the change becomes clear. Not suddenly, but surely. Fluency grows best in an environment without judgment, and that environment starts in your own mind. Now let's talk about our next topic: why fluency grows faster when English becomes part of your routine. Many learners treat English like a special activity. They think they need a quiet room, a free hour, the perfect mood. So they wait. And because life is busy, they don't practice regularly. But fluent speakers don't use English only in special moments. They use it naturally as part of their day. This is an important difference. Fluency does not grow from rare, long sessions. It grows from small, daily contact. 5 minutes here, a short sentence there, a quick thought in English. These small moments add up. When English becomes part of your routine, your brain stops treating it as something foreign. It becomes familiar. You don't think, "Now I must practice English." Instead, English appears naturally, while walking, while thinking, while reacting. This removes pressure. You are not performing, you are living. And living in English, even a little, is much more powerful than studying it occasionally. The goal is not to do more, the goal is to do it often. Consistency is more important than intensity. A short daily habit keeps English active in your mind, and when English stays active, speaking becomes easier. You don't need motivation every day. You need a system, a routine that feels light, a habit that feels normal. Once English becomes part of your daily rhythm, fluency grows quietly in the background. You don't chase it, it comes to you. And that is when English stops feeling like a challenge and starts feeling like a tool. Now, let's talk about our final topic: why fluency arrives when you stop forcing it. Many English learners chase fluency. They compare themselves to others. They count mistakes. They rush the process. They ask, why am I not fluent yet? How long will this take? What am I doing wrong? And without realizing it, they turn fluency into pressure. But fluency does not grow under pressure. Fluency grows under patience. When you speak regularly, when you allow mistakes, when you stop judging yourself every day, something changes. English stops feeling like a problem to solve. It starts feeling like a language you use. You are no longer fighting your thoughts. You are no longer translating every word. You are no longer afraid of silence. You speak, you pause, you continue. And that is real fluency. Fluent speakers are not perfect speakers. They are comfortable speakers. They know how to continue even when a word is missing. They know how to rephrase even when a sentence goes wrong. This comfort does not come from talent. It comes from time and use. When you stop asking, "Am I fluent yet?" and start asking, "Did I speak today?" you shift your focus from outcome to process, and the process always wins. One day, you will notice something simple. You are speaking, and you are not thinking about it anymore. Not because you forced fluency, but because you allowed it to grow. That is when you realize fluency was never something to chase. It was something to build quietly, step by step, through patience, practice, and kindness toward yourself. And if you are here listening now, you are already on that path. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If you're still listening right now, that already says something important about you. It means you care. It means you are trying, and that matters more than you think. Remember, you don't need to rush fluency. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to keep showing up. A few sentences a day, a little listening, a little speaking. That is enough. If this video helped you feel calmer about speaking English, please like the video. It helps this channel reach more learners like you. You can also share it with someone who feels stuck or afraid to speak English. And I'd really love to hear from you. What part of this video connected with you the most? Just write a short comment. Even one sentence is enough. If you want more calm, real-life English listening like this, don't forget to subscribe and stay with us. We'll keep learning together, slowly, naturally, and without pressure. Thank you for listening to An Amazing Storyteller, and I'll see you in the next video.